Hello and welcome, Lynx here. We are playing the final prize is soup. And it is the next day of our second trial. Let's see where this is going. The morning was spent searching for the cube without results. Oh boy. Noon came and passed. Yangshu and I scouted out the mansion in the places we had yet to touch. As Ren'Py went along the wall, hoping to feel the key under the wallpaper, something shifted beneath my feet and palm. Say what? The ground rotated, opening up the wall and throwing me to the other side before promptly sealing the wall shut again. Say what? The momentum of the trapdoor threw me off balance and I fell to the ground. Oh boy. Hello! Ouch! I pushed myself back to my feet, patting off my hands. Are you alright? I heard Yangshu push at the wall to no avail. She seemed to be smacking it and even kicked at it. The truth carrying through better than her voice. I'm alright. I called to her across the wall. Looking around, this hallway didn't seem to be directly connected to the hallway I had just left by accident. I tried pushing the wall from my side, but I couldn't get the trapdoor to open up again either. But it doesn't look like I can get back too easily. Let's split up for now so we don't waste any time. But there is only a day and a half left to find the key. Daylight still trickled in from the nearby windows. However, given the little progress made by the shrinking group of survivors, we couldn't waste precious time. See you at dinner? Oh. Okay, see you at dinner. Thus, I turned away from the trapdoor wall and began exploring the new section I found myself in. Hearing a quiet crackling sound, I proceeded closer and found the fireplace. Embedded discreetly in the wall, the flames danced and flickered, radiating the red warmth. They seemed to reach out toward me, causing me to stumble back. An image of fire flashed in the back of my head. A sudden sharp pain spiked through my skull, and I grasped at my head with a groan. I lost my sense of equilibrium, backing the wall so that I could lean against it. I grit my teeth. The flames were in my eyes. I choked, feeling a strange rawness in my throat. Using the wall as a support, I slowly made my way away from the area. Although my breathing cleared, a dull headache and unsteadiness persisted. So focused on my discomfort, I didn't notice the footsteps approaching. That was when the air seemed to freeze. Who's that? An unfamiliar monster? Perhaps? A tall woman with red hair and her entourage of followers passed by me. Every cell in me screamed to get away from her. Already lightheaded from the episode before, I felt I couldn't breathe under her suffocating aura. I met her eyes, a mismatched red and orange. I like that. And my consciousness cut out. He, the Marshal of the Central Altar, sleeps at the hour of the Dragon and Snake, together with the sacrifice's key. Cursing the father blessed by the gods. Now that I think about it, maybe we are not searching for literal key. With that deadline looming over our heads, one had to ask, what was the meaning of the dragon and snake? What was the meaning of the dragon and snake? He sleeps at the hour of the dragon and snake. Isn't this the same as with the... What was the animal they said previously? Was the boar? I think it was the hour of a boar. Is it about time? I would be guessing it's time. Time? For example, the time at which the key would reveal itself. That seemed terribly unfair. Had anyone ever said that the trial would be fair? Okay, let's see if that's a possibility. Hour of the Dragon. Hour of the Dragon. And Snake? Something like that? Okay, so 7 to 9 in the morning is Hour of the Dragon, 9 to 11 is the Hour of Snake. Okay, so between 7 and 11? Or something? Maybe. Had anyone ever said that the trial would be fair? In the previous game, 11 had used the old-fashioned way of saying time with animals, therefore Dragon and the Snake could certainly have been the same. But at the same time, I tried to think of what time those animals referred to. A voice in my head spoke. The Hour of the Dragon and the Hour of the Snake referred to the period between 7 to 11 AM. If that were the case, then we had only one more chance. My thoughts ended. Suddenly, I was snapped back to reality by someone shaking my shoulder and that someone's familiar voice. Hailu! Black spots faded away from my vision. I stumbled right into the person who was shaking me, nearly knocking us both down before I regained my bearings. Yangshu? The last thing I remembered, I had lost consciousness, apparently standing after seeing a strange woman. I didn't know how much time had passed since. The sun had set. More than that, the sky was pitch black. Unease ran through my chest. What time is it? Just about curfew. You missed dinner, and you weren't in your room, so I came out to find you. I was scared that when you missed dinner. Fast footsteps and a sharp scraping noise cut off my words. At the end of the hall, I spotted a pair of mates. No, nothing about them looked human. I spotted a pair of monsters who had certainly spotted us with their many eyes. We have to run. Yangshu and I began to run in the opposite direction of the monsters, which similarly began to sprint after us. We quickly reached the fork, causing me to hesitate for a moment. I didn't know where this was. I didn't know the best way to go. I didn't know if I'd run to a dead end. We didn't have time to hesitate. Yangshu grabbed my hand. This way! The sounds of the monsters sounded right next to my ears. Yangshu pulled me along to run. We ran! We ran! We ran! Making turns here and there until I was dizzy. We ran! Yet for every meter we ran, the monsters seemed to move too. I mean, they are pretty tall, which also you can, I guess, assume with proper stance of running, her steps would be pretty far, yeah. Their movements scraping against the floor, their eyes so terribly hungry as they pierced our backs. The monsters were gaining on us. Still holding Yangshu's hand, I felt her begin to lag and punt. I knew where we were now. Seeing a monster reach out to grab Yangshu, I yanked her out of the wall, and practically dragged her to run as I chucked a random object in the hole straight into the monster's face. We had to go! We had to run! We were so close to safety! My assigned room was only a few meters away. The monsters were even closer. Through sheer force of will, I pushed Yangshu to the door and slid in the room. Slammed the door and hopefully locked it up. The moment my entire body was inside the room, I slammed the door shut. Yes. Smashing against the fingers of one of the monsters that had reached to grab us. Whew! Ignoring the wriggling digits that turned to black ooze, I locked the door. The ooze dripped to the floor and evaporated. Oh, they're not giving up, huh? Neither Yangshu nor I were foolish enough to open the door. I watched the door and backed away further into the room, picking up any solid object that I could use to bash the monsters with, should they make their way into the room. We are kind of, let's say we are kind of lucky that they don't try knocking from the balcony, because the girls could see them then. I think that would be in a way more terrifying as well. My heart was about to beat out of my chest, and they don't really give up. They still knock. Not once did the monsters seem to touch the handle or try to open the door. I wonder if the monsters had to follow rules of the game as well. Finally, the knocking stopped. Only once I heard the monsters leave, they turned the makeshift weapon I picked up back to its original position. Are they gone? I think so. I collapsed like a slug face first into the bed. Rolling around on my back to more easily breathe, my limbs felt like jelly. Seeing Yangshu sit down on the bed next to me, I pushed myself up to a sitting position to accompany her. Thanks! Thanks. We are thanking her. For saving me. Oh. She shook her head. I don't know what happened. I saw this ominous woman and then I just blacked out. She wasn't one of the survivors or one of the servants. So that's what happened. I was really worried. If you hadn't come to find me, then I think I would have been a goner. I hate that. No one at dinner found the key to the heater, so we're here for another night. No luck on my end. I let out a sigh. Sitting in a subdued silence, Yangshu retrieved her phone from her pocket. I have some pictures of the mansion that I want to review. I looked too. I scooted closer to her on the bed, my fingers brushing against her hand by accident. We reviewed the dozens, maybe even hundreds of photos that Yangshu took of various places across the mansion grounds. Not one hint of the key could be found. Let's go back to the riddle we saw on the first day. Yangshu opened the photo of the plaque. He, the Marshal of the Central Altar, sleeps at the hour of the Dragon and Snake, together with the sacrifice's key, cursing the father blessed by the gods. Who is the Marshal of the Altar supposed to be? What's Nesha? I have no clue what's Nesha. Was it set in the... It's a horror movie. Oh, it's like a god thing. Interesting. Should we go with that? I mean, Central Altar, I would say that does make any sense, right? Let's go with Nesha. The title tugged at the memory buried deep in my head. A name danced upon the tip of my tongue, something I remember from when I was younger. I seem to have watched a show as a child with a character with that title. Nesha? Is Nesha the Marshal of the Central Altar? Nesha is the Marshal of the Central Altar. It's his Taoist name. Another one of his titles is Third Lotus Prince. Interesting. Because he was reborn from Lotus roots. Maybe. Although adaptations of Journey to the West far outnumber those focused on Nesha, I had still watched a few cartoons and dramas focusing on Nesha when I was younger. He was a mythological figure, a mischievous boy born out of a ball of flesh after a gestation period of over 3 years. What? Popping out of the flesh ball as a full-grown boy rather than an infant after the ball was cut open by his father, the boy proceeded to kill a dragon god at some point. Okay. Amidst various shenanigans, which may have had liberties taken with them for the sake of television, Nesha died and was brought back to life via Lotus Root by his Taoist master. After conflict with his father, Nesha ended up being trapped in a golden pagoda given to his father by the gods to tame Nesha, or so the adaptation I was familiar with went. The boy deity also appeared in A Journey to the West and various adaptations with a slightly different backstory. With Nesha as the Marshal of the Central Altar, as well as character with enmity against his father, I felt he must have been relevant to the riddle describing our key. I think we're on to something. The problem was that neither Yangshu nor I could figure out the last piece of the puzzle to connect us to the answer. After mooning over the Ludo for a while longer, the two of us tucked in for bed. I mean, I'm not familiar with the Nesra and so on, so I can't really draw any conclusions myself here. Night passed. Morning came and passed as well, uneventfully with no key in sight for any of the survivor group. And the survivors still left, including Yangshu and I, gathered in the dining room, during lunch feeling the pressure of the now looming deadline. Less than half a day remained. No one knew where the key could be. Although I had missed dinner the previous night, I could clearly see that the survivor count had decreased between yesterday noon to this morning to now. According to the others, we had dug through just about the whole mansion. They had explored the cellar, the attic, even the servants' quarters, where the unlucky survivor had nearly gotten himself eaten alive. What? How come? During the day? We saw a riddle when exploring. At night, it might be a clue to where the key is located. Oh, I think River seems something like that too. What was it? A martial dragon? I exchanged look with Yangshu. Yangshu took her phone out from her pocket, drawing suspicious looks from the other survivors, and opened up the photo of the plaque to show the others. He, the marshal of the central altar, sleeps at the hour of the dragon and snake, together with the sacrifice's key, cursing the father blessed by the gods. Does someone have an idea what this riddle could mean? The survivors murmured amongst themselves. A few piped up with ideas and interpretations, but no one thought of anything new or clearly actionable. It seemed that it was still unsolved. As we were about to move on to another topic or possibly disperse, one of the younger survivors spoke up, crossing her arms in annoyance. What do you have yourself on? I also used my phone all time when I was alive, but I told her my phone would be in the afterlife, and some gloomy looking freak has hers. Are we sure she's not in cahoots with the game masters? What are you trying to say, bitch? Narrowing my eyes, I protectively moved to block the aggressive survivor from Yangshu. The eyes of the group grew unfriendly as they whispered amongst themselves. Calm down. Maybe she just got lucky and hit it well, so she got to keep her phone. Since we're here, why don't we ask the girl to try calling civilization to get us all out of this hellhole? The group agreed. I gripped my fist in irritation but looked toward Yangshu to see how she felt about it. Clearly had no sign in the first round, but it didn't seem to have any last night either. Can we try that again? She nodded. Extending her hand to show her phone, she called 110. There was no sign that the call failed to go through. Give it to me! Taking advantage of Yangshu's extended hand, the teenager tried to yank it out of her hand. The others began to push toward the two of us as well. Oh, back off, for fuck's sake! Yangshu backed away, pulling her phone closer herself. Didn't the creepy chat say that we're all dead? How'd you randos die, huh? Bet you died in a dirty stinky ditch somewhere where no one cares about you. Well, that sounds like someone experienced that. Perhaps you're doing what the young people do these days, called projecting. Huh? Just look at your balding head makes me smell the residual stink. For fuck's sake, can we calm down, get back to... What? You want to share with the class the way you died? The other players had already begun fighting with themselves, arguing about what his teenager was talking about. Despite knowing how I died, I had the suspicion that most of the other survivors knew how they did. You shouldn't ask people that. Maybe you should! The Game Master Judge Kyle said that we're all sinners here, so you all must have been some real messed up people who died in real messed up ways to get here! What do you do? To get pulled into sinner game, huh? You must be a total creep! Pot, meat, kettle. Bickering, pushing the survivor group, devolved into chaos. Yangshu tugged at my jacket silently, looking like she wanted to leave the dining room as soon as possible. I felt tempted to go as well. However, before we could leave, the teenage survivor turned the group's attention back towards us. And tell you what is with the phone girl? You're right, why does she have a phone? Taking advantage of his size, the middle-aged man, who I had thought initially reasonable, plucked Yangshu's phone right off her hands. Yanks reached for it only to be blocked by the other survivors. Give that back, for fuck's sake, it does belong to you. Even if she's innocent, we can make better use of this phone. Yeah, right, sure. Huh, how do you unlock this thing? Oh yeah, better use and you can fucking unlock a phone. Good job, mate. Seriously, give it back. Give it to me! I know how to use it better than you, my lucky! Noisy, this place was really noisy. Nice. A plate fell to the ground. More accurately, Yang threw a plate to the ground. The room fell silent in surprise. Then she opened her mouth to speak loudly and clear. Give my phone back to me! Walking up to the middle-aged man through the crowd that appeared surprised to see Yang speak at all, Yang took her phone back. She wiped off with a napkin and held it close to her chest. Sending a glare toward the other survivors, she walked away, exiting the dining room. Let's go, girl. I'm proud of her. Rather than myself, I copied Yang's glare and made a leaf. I'm so proud of her. My Yangshu grew up. You should consider resuming the key search before wasting any more time bullying people. I mean, it's not like they will be any useful, let's face it. I exited the dining room without waiting for a response. I found Yangshu in the hallway not too far away. Are you alright? I can't stand people. Understandable, absolutely. Yangshu let out a deep sigh and stared down at her feet. After a while of silence, I felt her tug at my jacket sleeve. Let's try to find the key. Yeah. We continued our search. Time passed. Out of the blue... That's a nice freaking background, by the way. What the heck? Love it. Out of the blue, the air changed, and Eleven's voice sounded out from the sky, reminding me of the first round on the mountain. The fast for the king of the 11th court will commence in approximately 1 hour. We were almost out of time. 1 hour. Just 1 hour left. We didn't have any time left to wander around and hope for the best. We had to figure out just where exactly the key was hidden. He, the marshal of the central altar, sleeps at the hour of dragon and snake, together with the sacrifice's key cursing the father blessed by the gods. My brain clicked. It did? Ha! Dead! Based on the riddle, the key should be somewhere in the southeast. God damn it, so it was about the location, wasn't it? The one place that we haven't checked yet. Inside that pond with the lotus flowers. The dragon and the snake refer to directions so the southeast. Fuck. I messed up. The marshal of the central altar is Nesha, lotus flowers. We turned... Wait, did I mess up both options? Oh. We turned to look to the southeast in unison. Exchanging looks, we nodded and started running down the halls toward the garden in that direction. We reached the garden and stepped right in front of the pond. Beside the green rain flowers, it seemed unassuming with the pretty white pink lotus flowers floating upon its surface. Likely no one had thought to search within it, no nets or tools inside to use. Yang looked left and right trying to find something to poke into the pond with, but we didn't have the time for that. Ah, for fuck's sake, I'm pretty good at swimming. What? Without thinking further, I dove into the pond with a splash. The water soaked into my clothes hindered my movement, but I forced myself downward, opening my eyes. The pond was so big that light couldn't reach the bottom. Bubbles escaping as I conserved my oxygen, I quickly spotted something that reflected the water-filtered sunlight sitting in the silt at the pond floor. It was a golden pagoda figurine. I swam toward the pagoda and lifted it from the ground. For a minute it dropped an object I grabbed before it touched the pond bottom. As Eleven stated, the moment I saw the key, I knew that we had found it. More bubbles escaped from my nose. A muffled, subdued jingle reached my ears from below the water surface. I had to go up, otherwise I'd run out of air before I had the chance to win this round. Gripping the key in my hand, I pushed myself on the pond floor and began to swim upward. The light above the water grew brighter. I was almost there! That was when something yacked on my leg and began to pull me down. It might shock air escape from my mouth. I struggled to swim upward, just my hand splashing up above the pond surface, then I felt myself being pulled down again. I was out of air. I couldn't accept this, but the thing overpowered me. I glanced downward for just a moment, seeing a rotting creature that resembled a mage dragging me down a water ghost. I extended my hand toward the surface, which was growing further away, even as I kicked at the monster and tried to swim. No! A thin hand grabbed mine. She pulled desperately for my sake. Young, she pulled against the force of the ghost, dragged me down and pulled me above the water. I gasped for air. Hailu! Crack. Using the ground as leverage, I kicked the ghost away and lifted the rest of me out of the water with Yangshu's help. The monster poked its head above the water for a quick second before diving back down, waiting for its next victim. Wow. Finally, having a chance to catch my breath, I sat on the ground for a few moments and breathed air. My clothes were wet with water, waving me down and leaving a puddle on the ground. I gestured for Yangshu to hold out her hand. As she did, I dropped the key into her open palm. You found it! Yeah. As I forced myself back up to my feet, an announcement came from the sky. Congratulations! The key has been found. All players should make their way to the banquet hall for the fest. We made it! A maid wearing its human facade approached us in boat. In its hands, it held a towel, which it passed to me to use to dry off. Please follow me to the banquet hall. Just like that, we reached the banquet hall. The moment we entered, the key disappeared from Young's hand. It seemed that the key's role was finished, once again reminding me that we were in the afterlife. In the banquet hall was a long table. At its head sat the tall, red-haired woman I saw the day before. Her gaze sent a chill down my spine. She's cute. The woman spoke. Congratulations! You've made it to the fest of the third night and passed the second round of my game of life. I'm the king of the 11th court. First, sit. I spotted 11 sitting beside the king, and the seat beside 11 on empty. All the other survivors saw themselves. A number of seats further away from the king had been left unoccupied in sets of 2 or 3. I contemplated where I should sit. Tempting. But I feel like the king, supposed king, would take it the wrong way and would be pissed. Basically, we should not be close to king. Let's go, Yangshu. I want to sit closer to the door. I want to sit closer to the door. Sure. Finding 2 seats by the door, I sat down and glanced at the far other end where the king sat. Start the fest. The king clapped her hands once. Then the servants began to lay out various dishes atop the long table, placing shared utensils on each dish to let out all of the guests serve themselves. The food looked different from what we had in the dining hall during the time we spent at this mansion. The meat glistened with strange sauce. The vegetables and pastries appeared a level higher if craftsmanship. The 2 of us picked up some food to eat. I put a piece of strange meat in my mouth and paused. Oh, don't tell me it's human meat. Ooh, crunch? It tasted strange. It really tasted strange. A slick, salty, metallic feeling coating my tongue. Uh-oh. Tempted to spit out, I looked at Yangshu, who was eating the same thing without any reaction, and swallowed the piece in my mouth, resisting the urge to gag. Then I picked up my cup and drank water till the flavor left my tongue. I didn't need to eat during the fest. What do you think about the meat? It tastes normal? I know if we should eat it. Oh. Alright, I trust you. Yangshu put down her fork and wiped her mouth with a provided napkin. In the meanwhile, can I ask you whether you want to go back to life and reconnect if you pass the next round of this game? Of course, I want to go back to life. What? I plan to live till at least my 80s, so that's a long time. So dying permanently in my mid-20s would be a huge waste of my retirement plans. I've still got a lot left to do. What about you? I don't know. Going back to life would be alright with me. But reincarnating would be alright as well. I'm not sure. Reincarnating would mean drinking mank poo soup and wiping away all my memories of this lifetime. I wonder how it works. For example, would it be able to wipe away all the feelings you ever had in the lifetime? It seems sad if so. Why? Is it better to not have to feel any of the sadness of your previous life? But you can't remember any of the happiness either. Ooh, but even the happiness, I don't think you're supposed to be able to remember where it came from. That really seems so sad. But there is nothing left to be sad about. In fact, wouldn't you be happy if you cannot remember being happier or sadder? I would say no. Why? Just my gut feeling. I see. I looked carefully at Yangshu, the girl who I grew up with. Talking about forgetting, I found myself wanting to commit every bit of her to my memory. For example, she had pretty eyes, a cute nose, soft lips, and these days liked to dye the inner section of her hair. She was a bit shorter than me and didn't go out in the sun much. At the very least, I'd be sad if I forgot about you. Yangshu was the only Yangshu in the world. Me too! I don't want to forget you! I put my hand up hers. Her slender fingers felt chilly, but I would warm her up. Alright, I have another point against reincarnating for me. I don't like drinking soup. Even if it's magic soup? Wouldn't magic soup be even worse? I can't imagine how it tastes. I know, soup is pretty yummy. If you are from Poland, you know we have good soups here. If you've been in Poland, you know we have good soups. So, I have to agree. Rather than eating, we decided to chat. Luckily, sitting on the far end of the table, no one, not the survivors, not the king, not the servant, bothered to interrupt our conversation. The fest continued for a while longer. Then the low bell tolled, signaling the end of our time in this round. When I opened my eyes, I once more returned to my familiar yet lifeless apartment. I leaned against the wall, hand pressing against the familiar feeling and fiddling with a hole that I had made, once upon a time with a nail to hang a whiteboard. Even now, I felt as if I could awaken from this nightmare to find that all of this was a dream. Yet I would not wake. Only one round remained of the game of life. After all of the close calls I had in the past 2 games, I still had no idea how I died, having no time for introspection when running for my life. I wonder how I lost my life. Was I murdered? If someone asked, if you were in France, Italy, Sweden, perhaps Germany, UK, Ireland, highly possible. If some unknown entity held a grudge against me and brutalized me to the point of amnesia even in the afterlife, I wondered if I wanted to remember. It was the natural disaster. Climate change had certainly increased the instances of floods, landslides, fires, and whatnot in the region. Perhaps I simply dropped dead of a heart attack. I'd always thought that my family's genes were pretty resilient, not my grandparents ever having heart issues or strokes. None of those questions bore any results. Mulling over my unclear death wouldn't give me any answers. Okay, we know that opening the front door is a bad idea. Yangshu's door. Let's see. I rapped my knuckles on Yangshu's door, not knowing if she would be in that room, which should have long been vacated. Before I could call out to her, the door opened on its own. I never had any automatic door opening system built in my apartment, so that definitely was not supposed to have happened. Yangshu was sitting on the carpet, fiddling with her phone in one hand and holding an open can beer in the other. As I approached, she set the beer down, making sure not to spill it. Do you have signal? Yangshu shook her head. I took a seat next to her, careful not to lean against the bed since I was still in outdoor clothes. At least I had magically dried off between getting out of the pond and now. Leaning toward her, I couldn't help but grin. Hey, you cracked open a cold one pretty quickly if we both got back to our place at the same time. You're the one who always went out drinking for work, coming home late all the time. It really is part of my job. Can't get anywhere without the after-work socializing. Japan. Although I do wish I got paid a bit more in exchange for all of that unpaid time. Dude, I'm so never hanging out with people after work. Not a chance. Your company's lap really doesn't go out much, huh? She leaned on my chest and shook her head. Her face looked flushed, a cute pink dusted across her cheeks. Her eyes a little watery. This was how she looked when she was drunk. I wondered how long had passed since the last time we drank together. Although right now, I was absolutely sober, not a drop of alcohol in me, she must have really chugged that beer. I only drink once in a while when I'm stressed. Not that it matters since I'm dead. I poked her forehead, eliciting a little yelp from her. Let's get through that last round and then we won't be dead anymore, alright? Want to come with me next time I get invited to something fancy? Absolutely no way. I'm so bad with people. Sometimes you just have to put yourself out there. Most people are pretty easy to talk to once you get past the greetings. It's not so bad once you get the hang of it. She lightly smacked my arm. I really hate it when you say those sorts of things. I can't do it. I'm just a useless person who can't change, can't grow up, can't talk to people, can't do anything. I can only do things at my own pace. Oh, I'm the same. In a way. I just can't be normal. Yangshu. Whatever, I'm better with people, I just hate people. Oh, I'm the same. Except for you guys. You guys are great. Why can't they all disappear and leave me alone? You guys don't disappear. I'm sorry. She turned her head away from me. She wouldn't look at me, pulling away. For snapping at you. I shook my head. No. I'm sorry. I apologized. I know that can be overbearing. If that's the right word. Inconsiderate. Acting like the world should work my way all the time. Give advice that no one asked for. Oh, actually, that's something I do as well. That is annoying for others, yes. I apologize not just for now, but also for all the other moments that I should have told her sorry. We sat in silence for a few moments. Do you still remember how we met? Junior high. Ah, it was summer, just before summer break. During that exam period when the AC broke halfway through the day, when... You guys had AC? At school? When the next best thing was electric fans circulating humid heat. I'm gonna be... probably corrected about that, but... I do believe... like the only classroom in all of my schools that had AC was the IT classroom in high school. And I'm certain none other had that. In lower schools, so primary or middle, and none of the classrooms definitely in high school. It was only IT classroom that had the AC, I'm sure of it. Which I guess kind of made sense. I shouldn't remember what happened over 10 years ago so vividly. Why not? But I really thought I was going to die from the heat. Finding out from the last exam, what was it even? I just remember struggling to get the canteen or vending machine or anything for a drink of water. And then bumping into you. We didn't know each other at that point, but without hesitation you gave me a bottle of water you were carrying. We'd chatted about this moment many times before, so the memory had almost certainly been beautified. Yet to speak of it again in our mid-20s, you can tell so young, tickled my heart. I was in the basketball team in junior high, so I usually carried the extra water bottles with me. At the time, I didn't think that it would come in handy that I carried extras. Still, it was water. My cool and gallant savior. You know what I remember the most about the time? That there was a pretty girl who I met after the exams who got assigned to the same class as me in the class shuffle after summer break. The rest is history. Who's this pretty girl you're talking about? Oh, you know her better than anyone else in this world. Don't think that I'm joking about calling you pretty. The really pretty girl I want to become close to from first sight turned out to be my new classmate, Qian Hailu. Lady Luck loved me, so I didn't even have to ask anyone to switch seats to get assigned the one next to you on the first day of the term. But I would have if I had to. Aren't those words something you made up when we started dating? It's the truth. Otherwise, what's the point of saying it now? After all, we had already broken up. Now, if I had said that I knew right away that you were kind and clever, well, that would probably have been something I made up, even if it turned out to be true. A little red crept up to her ears. Why, thank you, classmate Qian Hailu, for the glowing character recommendation. I aim to please, classmate. Then Yangshu leaned against me again, just for a moment. The silence that filled the air was soft, gentle, just like her, reminding me of the past. Yet I couldn't bask in that atmosphere of nostalgia for too long as she distanced herself a little, appearing almost lonely even though I was right here. Hi. Whatever campus you have to pass this third round and pass the trial, make sure of it. Hey? Despite being the way I am, I can pull through for the moments that count. It's the balance of karma. For every bad thing, there has to be a good thing, or something like that. Pushing the long-forgotten can of beer further away, Yangshu rose to her feet. The karmic balance will be altered if we keep chatting, so... She tucked my arm, making me follow suit in, standing up, and started shuffling me toward the door. Hey, why? Because it makes me too happy. Suddenly, I was getting pushed out of the door. See you? See you. I stepped out of her room and the door closed softly behind me. Before long, the low bell tolled, signaling the start of the third and final round. I floated through the empty black space. This was different. Should I be moving on to the next game? Did the trial start already? Questions rushed through my mind as I prepared myself for a trial of black space. Yet neither sense nor sight of 11 to give the rules could be found. My feet finally touched solid ground and a scene blossomed in front of me. A scene! A scene that we'll see in the next episode! That's right. We'll get to the third trial in the first episode. Oh my god. Third trial in the third episode, and we'll see where this is all going. Hope to see you there. As per usual, the game link in the description. You can play it yourself too. You can try finding out what would happen if you made maybe the actually correct choices. Like saying that it's about location time like I did. What else? That's about it. Also, if you enjoyed, consider liking the video. Always appreciate it. If you're new around, subscribe. We are basically playing whatever we start until the very end, more or less. Unless I feel like, you know what, one route is good enough. Yeah, but yeah, we are basically playing like for roughly, more or less. With that being said, hope you all have a wonderful day. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow as well. Have a good one. Bye bye.